DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. So, now this is the last prediction video I need to make for the second round of 2015 NBA playoffs. Y'all saw the 3 previews I put out earlier about Memphis, Golden State, Cleveland, Chicago, and Washington versus Atlanta. Of course, I couldn't make this one. I didn't make this one last night because, of course, like all the rest of y'all was watching the fight. Had to see the end of the Clippers and the Spurs game, and it was a hell of a game. Went down to the last shot, pretty much, and the Clippers ended up winning Game 7. Put out the defending champion San Antonio Spurs in the first round, which is crazy. It's disappointing that both of those teams had to get eliminated in the first round with all the terrible teams that got into the playoffs in the East compared to those 2 teams having to go against each other. But that's the way it came out, and we got to play the games as is on the schedule. So the Clippers did beat the Spurs. Very surprising that the Spurs, like I said, had to lose in the first round, but that's that. So now we're in the second round. LA Clippers are going to go up against the Houston Rockets. And before I even get into that, I had to toot my own horn here that I got all my first round predictions correct. So I predicted all the winners of the first round series. I didn't bet no money on none of them, so I can't be that happy, but I did predict them all properly. So let's see if I get all the second round ones right. I already picked the Grizzlies to beat Golden State in 7. I didn't get the number of games right in the first round, but I got the winners right. So I picked Memphis, I picked the Cavs, and I picked the Wizards, and I picked the Wizards. So I picked a few underdogs in the second round. So let's see what I got here for the Clippers against Houston. Might have to pick another one. As far as the Clippers go, I mean, Chris Paul, we knew his hamstring was hurt during Game 7. Heard it at the beginning of the game, but of course he played through it, and he was able to hit that tough, floater runner shot over Danny Green and Tim Duncan with 1 second left. And if any of y'all follow Chris Paul, if you saw the shot, it was obvious that he wasn't passing that ball. I thought they might try to set something up where he passes, but Chris Paul wasn't passing that ball. It was either I'm going to make this shot or we going to overtime, but I'm not giving up the chance to win the game for my team. And then he hit a little mid-range runner. And then you follow me on Twitter, or you follow this guy Kirk Goldsberry on ESPN, Grantland.com. Chris Paul is the best mid-range shooter in the NBA. And the other guys who are really good mid-range is guys like Dirk, Chris Bosh, him, Jarrett Jackson, another guy who's really good from mid-range. And this is statistically, this is not my opinion. This is all objective analysis. So Chris Paul taking a mid-range shot for the game is a pretty high percentage opportunity for his team. And he went and knocked that shot down. Blake Griffin with a triple-double. Didn't notice that he had a triple-double. He left a lot of rebounds on the table. Blake was loafing a few times on the defensive glass, and I was pointing it out on Twitter, but he still ended up with 13 rebounds. And Blake is a hell of a passer. He got 10 assists. DeAndre Jordan basically sat most of the stretch run of the game because the Spurs would have just fouled him. He would have had to go to the free throw line, and we know that he's not a great free throw shooter, but DeAndre Jordan is going to be very much needed in this series, and because the Clippers can counter that action by just fouling Dwight Howard. Because Dwight Howard's not a great free throw shooter either. So they could just take turns taking trips to the foul line. DeAndre against Dwight Howard in the free throw shooting contest. I think that'll make the game kind of boring, but that might be what happens because both of those guys are integral parts of their teams. So looking at this second round matchup, I mean, it seems like forever since I've even seen Houston play after they put Dallas away. But Dwight Howard looked really good in that first round series. After he looked so-so all season for Houston, then he came back. After he finally came back from that month-and-a-half injury that he was out for, he actually looked good. And in the first round against Houston, he's looking like regular Dwight Howard again. And then I was watching one game. I don't know which game of the series it was. He got into it a little bit with Tyson Chandler of Dallas. And then he started actually playing like he cared, like he gave a damn. He started grabbing every rebound like he meant to do it, like on purpose. And sometimes I watch guys like him who are so athletic and big, and they're not grabbing rebounds. I'm like, yo, why doesn't this dude just grab? He could pretty much grab most of the rebounds that come down, but a lot of times it's like he's indifferent to whether he gets it or let somebody else get it. But after he got into it with Tyson a little bit, he started going after every rebound. I mean, he was grabbing them like above the rim and just snatching them, and nobody else was even close to being able to get those, his teammates or anybody on the other team. And I'm like, damn, Dwight Howard, once he got into it mentally, once he locked in mentally after that little scuffle, he started grabbing everything. And when Dwight plays like that, he's a very huge factor for his team. And then on the other side, the Clippers got DeAndre Jordan, who pretty much played like that all season. He was going after rebounds intentionally, and that's how he grabbed so many. What did he grab? Like 15 rebounds a game this year. So seeing those two guys go against each other, two super athletic guys who are around the 7-foot range, who both play way above the rim, going against each other is going to be fun. As far as as also at the power forward spot, you got a guy like Blake in Houston. I think Domo is still out. Monty Eunice, I think he's still out. Somebody can update me on that. I don't know what his status is. Houston still has Terrence Jones. I think he'll be a good matchup against Blake Griffin, even though Blake Griffin is better than him. At the small forward position, of course, James Harden, or the two guard, the wings. We'll just say the wings. You got JJ and Matt Barnes and Jamal Crawford for the Clippers going up against Houston has Corey Brewer, super athletic guy, and James Harden. We all know that he's been top 3 player in the NBA this year. Probably will come in second, I think, in MVP voting. And then, of course, Chris Paul. At point guard, Houston is at a disadvantage without Pat Beverly. I think Jason Terry stepped into the starting point guard spot. I think Chris Paul is going to give Jason Terry some trouble. Jason Terry's a little bit older. He's a guy who you want coming off the bench so he can give you 20 to 25, maybe 30 minutes of action in a big game. But you don't want to have him playing heavy minutes, especially against a guy like Chris Paul, who is, for all intents and purposes, the best point guard in the NBA, in my opinion. But that's not what this video is about, so please don't engage me in that. So my prediction for this series, the Clippers are on the road. Houston is the home team. After the Clippers coming off that 7-game win against the Spurs, I think their confidence is very high. I don't think their energy will dip at all because they all know what's at stake here. And this is only the second round. Even though they beat the Spurs, this is only the second round that they got to by beating them. And Chris Paul's never been past the second round. And I'm sure he knows that just as well as all the analysts and all of us fans talk about it all the time. As far as Houston goes, they're at full strength pretty much. Well, they're not at full strength. They don't have Pat Beverly and they don't have, I think Domo is still out. But again, somebody can tell me if he's out or if he's in. Man, this is going to be a very good series, very entertaining series. I know I'm going to miss several of these games because they start late on the West Coast and I'm not staying up to watch all these playoff games. But my prediction for this series, with the Clippers going on the road, I like LA. I got to go with the LA Clippers just because I feel like Chris Paul at the point guard position is going to be dominant in this series. I do feel James Harden is going to be dominant also, but I think Chris Paul is going to be more dominant. I think Blake Griffin is going to outplay his counterpart at his position down there. I also think that using the hacker DJ, whatever they call it, strategy is not going to be as useful for Houston because they got Dwight Howard, so they could do the exact same thing. Clippers can do the exact same thing to them. So I think that's going to be neutralized more than the Clippers were able to neutralize it, but they couldn't neutralize it against the Spurs. My prediction in this series that the Clippers are going to win is 6. Clippers in 6 over the Houston Rockets, move on to the Western Conference Finals, which, based on my prediction, would make the Western Conference Finals the Clippers against the Memphis Grizzlies, and we all know how good of a series those are. So, that is it. Those are my 4 second-round predictions. You've seen them all. Let me know what you think. You agree or disagree. I ain't even got to tell y'all to let me know. Y'all know where to leave the comments at. We've done this before. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. Out this video, make sure you follow all my top content up here. Follow me on all your favorite social networks right over here, and make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content I put on this channel every single day. Work on your game.